block key doesn't work?
Wait.
It was.
Wait, the block doesn't hit.
I hit my rate on that.
Okay, I'll fix that. Give me a rotate. Give me a rotate.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 10 million right now.
Let's go.
Can you just message me on Twitter?
How do I find this?
I must require a follow.
It's right there. Which model? gpt-oss, that's right.
Yeah, I was trying 20B. I was trying 20B.
Okay. What rate does it use?
I don't know.
You gotta give me something.
Probably, I think it's 100,000 right now. Let's just make it a million.
Welcome to demos at the gpt-oss Pack Night.
That's what it's for days. That is for days. I'll fly next.
Okay.
Actually, let me check out this. We'll start with 2x. If that doesn't fix it.
Okay. I did an accidental loop and then I accidentally grabbed a loop and then I know what shit. Thank you. Oh, I have different randoms I swapped out the llamas.
Please take this opportunity to add your project to the spreadsheet or the presentations tab. Add your team member's project name, description, and if you have a GitHub report, we're going to tell you.
Let me know when you're done.
Okay. Thank you.
I will provide you with
Alright, okay. Sounds good.
Pensé que era rico. It's public yet? When do you want to make it public? Can you give them something to start? Or just put just make it public so that when you put it there. I send you my
Wait, say it again. I just heard like fragments.
Just add a better readme. Add the readme that I send you on Slack. And just like the things that are not there, so that you can get them to get people in the comments or whatever. Laptop. Not like this. You just copy that. Things that are not sure, remove. Like for example, things not there yet. We can also.
Okay, does anyone else need time to add their project to the spreadsheet? You need time, okay. Please do that right now. Alex, please do that right now. Thank you.
I'm dead focused right now.
What is under What is that? What is that here?
What
You don't know yet. Move it, that like you don't know, to like question mark. Yeah, like 65 question mark.
It's an easy fabric.
Cost TBD or depends. Just put $1. Just put $1. Open source. The browser just put like actually GPT or maybe and then that's actually just Azure. Maybe like it's okay. Normally we give it first, but like it's actually gonna be favorite.
Absolutely not.
And then there might be some comments also.
You have to.
I cannot ask my name to it.
Just say you found it on Reddit.
You look and
That's all fine.
Is it correct? Is how you use it?
no, run a cursor and
Yeah.
run
I
cursor
don't
and
navigate this.
huh?
No, you just say it's fine.
Yeah. It's okay.
Just do it. It's fine.
Put it there.
Say again?
So check which cursor, but then otherwise just put like daily.
I just want to run it open first.
Just do you have your camera? What? Do you actually use that?
Then, what do you get?
I was doing the 30% ground. You got main connectors? Okay. I should find it. Main file number 3. And then the main. It's because how because they do I won't grab it.
That's not gonna work.
Okay, last check. Does anyone else need time to add their project to the spreadsheet? Anyone else need time?
So, are we just
Read that one.
Sure.
Like literally all the way down.
Sort of
Fine. Nice. I have like I can see that he was checking versus the wrong. He was just checking versus the wrong.
That was good.
Welcome to GPT-oss Hack Night Demos. A very special evening. We're going to get the first view of what is possible with the next generation of American open source AI. First and foremost, a big thank you to our judges who will be allocating our prize. Let's get a warm round of applause for Dimitri, Parker, and Arush. Please stand to take your round. They will. Oh, second.
Arnold's judging too.
Oh, Arnav was on. Okay, fantastic. So they'll be your judges for the evening. Lots of thanks to them, to OpenAI, and to Grok for the prize that will be allocated to you. Up next are hackers. We have your shippers, those who did not only show up to the hack night, but chose to build and put themselves into the arena. Let's get a warm round of applause for Dimitri, Jeremy, Matt, Dan, Adam, Gary, Lewis, Rika, and Alex. Woo! Congratulations. Up first, with Free Level, who has the ambition of taking a $1.8 billion company to its knees, creating an open source variant of app generation. Let's hear it for Dimitri Kozlov. So ground rules for these presentations. You will each get 6 minutes to present your product. The judges will have space to ask questions after the opening presentation. It is a demo, so demoing your code is ideal. Ideally, everyone who sees your presentation gets some or ideally all of the deep insights required to build it. So with that, we'll kick it off with Dimitri's Free Level.
Hi everyone.
So originally I started exploring what kind of app can replace Lovable because I was running out of Lovable credits, and I found Adorable, but after some time I found another open source project. It's DYAD, and yeah, let's try to build a hackathon website, like landing page for today. I already spent some time on live coding, and let's say just ask how are you, and of course I think it will fail because it's Anthropic and we need to switch to local mode, to VLM Agile House Emergency model, and it is 112 billion model that always work and always review. Once a minute, okay, it's doing well. And now let's build a snake game somewhere at the bottom of this page. Okay. And I hope it will think something. Okay, let's look at what it tries to do. The user wants to add snake game at the bottom of the website. We need to implement snake game. Obviously, it's like thinking process that started. It added snake game TSX, and okay, game over. Okay. Can you fix this game? It said it told me like game over, but I want to play.
Where is this running? Is this running locally?
It's running semi-locally on private cloud.
Okay. Well played, my friend.
Yeah, because it's 120 billion model, and you need at least H100. Okay, let's move down.
Should have used Grok.
Oh, Grok. Okay. Always says game over. User says game always says game over, likely because the game loop sets game over too. Maybe there is a chance to fix this game. Something going on. And I also want to note that at the end we will publish this to Lovable. Lovable because it provides you free hosting. Okay. Doesn't work.
That's how it should work.
So you can see like I did like 14 versions of this game, of this website. I think HTML coding is good for, yeah, still game over, but let's publish it. Let's do git pull and git push, git push, pum, and if we go to Lovable, and click publish. Now our website gpt-oss lovable.app will be updated. Yeah, thank you.
Any questions for free level?
Wait, so is the app used not Lovable? And why does it publish to Lovable's website if not?
Because I was connected and it was easy to like publish. Like I was running out of lovable credits, and obviously I cannot spend credits to write source code. But now with OSS GPT-oss, I can generate source code, update repo, and publish changes without spending tokens.
Oh, so you're using Lovable as a host.
Yeah.
So you're just using the tokens.
Right. That's very so.
Cool.
Thank you.
Very cool. That was free lovable. Up next is Insight, private sensitive insights. Local file upload into a chat GPT-like experience for private data by Jeremy Nixon. Let's hear it for Jeremy. Okay, so unlike Dimitri, I don't have a private cloud. And so I will be running everything on this local MacBook in real time. And yeah, I guess I built something like very genuinely useful for me. It's something that can take all of my private writings. It currently is loaded with the last 3 months of my journals, and it's giving you sort of psychological insights. So it's going to take a moment because it's a lot of data. So can we get an audience question for my last 3 months of journaling that will finish before the end of this combo? Any enterprising, curious people don't know. What's your idea?
What was the most surprising thing I learned in the last 3 months?
Okay, that's interesting.
Most surprising thing I learned. Or some variation of this.
Okay, while it's in, so what is this? This is an Electron app that was created about an hour and a half ago. And it's pretty simple. It basically is a file and folder selector, so I can upload compilations of documents. In this case, I have this huge sort of free-write folder, and I downloaded a substantial fraction of it. I was just going to see it. So yeah, basically almost every other day, every other day, I'm writing. I copied all these journal entries into a folder. I loaded that into this app, and basically it gives me psychological insights. So the first file I uploaded asked, what are the core psychological mechanisms at play in this writing? And the result isn't just sort of a standard boring chat response. It actually goes through the mechanism, how the psychological mechanism appears in the text, and the typical psychological fear. So self-concept and self-appraisal. The writer repeatedly questions how intelligence can vary in a single person's life, from childhood to adulthood and from health to illness. And the self-appraisal is a form of ongoing evaluation of who I am at different moments. So I was actually thinking about how much my sense of my own brilliance or ignorance changed over time, and this is part of it. Again, I guess the motivation hierarchy. The writer notes the mechanism of jadedness, extrinsic caring that leads to hurt, and contrasts it with a short-lived resentment that fuels action. This is an informal exploration of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation and self-determination. So this is some sort of psychoanalysis of writings of mine. And part of what I think is interesting about this is the takeaway does hit home. I'm constantly sort of re-examining my own identity, searching for higher level motivation. So it describes meta-desire that can replace the fleeting and hurt-driven drive and resentment. And what's interesting about this is really the way the language patterns of the AI system reflect the way that I write about myself. In general, I actually can't get my invented concepts into my ChatGPT replies and responses unless I give it relatively sensitive data. And so this is one thing of interest. Okay, what is the most surprising thing I've learned in these last 3 months of writing? It's going to be very embarrassing. The last 3 months of writing, The most surprising discovery you've made about yourself is the sheer power of the people you're talking to and the people you're not. You've written a lot about feeling drained and misallocated, stuck in loser and nerd mode, and you've tried to explain why your own engineering work remains unfinished, why you're spending so much time with people, and why your day-to-day schedule looks like a blur. But the single most startling realization that cuts through all of it is this. The biggest thing that is holding you back is the people you're surrounding yourself with. The only real relationships that you have are handled with people, huge fraction of these interactions like noise, you're in the middle of this race, you're constantly receiving emails, texts, LinkedIn messages, being forced to respond to everyone, constantly being pulled out of your focus. And yeah, there's sort of this like lack of focus around people. It's a deep psychological insight. The hardest part of your race is not the capital or product, it's cutting out the noise and focusing on a small circle that can actually help you build the lab.
Are you analyzing each file like parallelly and then combining the response, or like all the data from all the files like a single big context?
Yeah, basically this is 63 journal entries in context window, and so it actually is able to make insights across the last 3 months. So it basically like, in a lot of these cases, compares and contrasts how I was like feeling in May with how I was feeling in June, and like how my relationship with a person changed over time, or yeah, how my agenda changed. Yeah, basically having everything in context means the model is able to make more like, long-term and complex judgments about your psychology.
Okay.
So you made the app also?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. In the last 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah. I was shocked. But yeah, I guess I'm very embarrassed to say it, but basically, Claude basically one-shot the app. Yeah, I guess if you're curious.
Wait, what was the prompt?
Yeah.
Can we see that?
Sure. So Electron LLM code file loader. So it says I can call a local LLM with, and I like copy paste my import Olama gpt-oss 20b call, which I tested out in like a local notebook. So I didn't know what how do you guys figure out what the string is? Like the colon was not obvious. Like I didn't include the colon, it failed, I put the colon in, it worked. Anyway, I gave that to this, and I said, I want to create an Electron app that allows the user to input a folder or file in the file system, which is a docx or text file or set of files, used as context for the model to use in its context window. And it literally one-shot basically the whole app. It created 6 files. I like copied manually actually all the code into a repo and call it insight. So I guess we can put new. So basically, I copied these files in, and then I called node and called npm, and it basically worked the first time. There's like one issue, basically like Claude didn't know that there's an update in like .list for Olama. Like Olama transitioned away from using .list, so that initially failed. And then yeah, I asked in cursor to like, then I'm getting a type error in main.js, and it's like, oh, the error is that like Olama.list is not a function. And it fixed it, and I said accept, and then everything worked. Yeah. Ridiculous. Sorry. I feel really bad. Practically speaking, I did the coding of the project in like 10 to 15 minutes with like actually 2 LLM calls.
I was curious. Did you feel like it was able to like do an accurate like representation of like your thoughts or like a summarization?
Horrifically accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, maybe I can scare myself and do that as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to send you code for sure. If you like, I'll put it on GitHub. So what's crazy about it is like, often when I put these projects on GitHub, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my API key because I'm gonna accidentally make it public. But there's literally no API key. It's a llama, and so yeah, you can just like run the Electron app if you have a llama. Cool, that's it. But thank you. That was Insight, private, sensitive insights. Up next, Matt Allen will present to you Garbage Collector, Obsidian Mind Dumps to Atomic Mix. Let's hear it from Matt Allen.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so basically my life revolves around Obsidian. I take a lot of notes, and usually what I'll do on a day-to-day basis is I'm going through something like found this cool paper the other day on recurrence and state spaces, and was looking to go through and try to figure out what's going on here. I haven't looked at this stuff before, so how that goes for me is I'll just have a brain dump of all these different things, and sometimes there's like actual realizations or insights that I have, and it would be kind of a pain in the ass to go through and try and extract all those and put those into another note. The reason why you want to do that is because it can be kind of hard to remember where you thought of an idea as opposed to having a note that has that idea. So what I made, give me a second. Perfect. Essentially all this does is, or what this does is it will take your notes, oh don't look at that. Let him know. It will take your notes and it's going to segment essentially the unstructured text that you've got into different segments. And then it's going to decide which ones are the most important to extract into their own notes. And then it's going to create those new notes and then link them in the original document. So if I run main, it's first made these chunks of what the note basically boils down to. And then it's made a decision. It's going to work on these ones. And then, let's see, extracting decision. Did it do it? That looks different. Oh, okay. So now you can see that it has taken these lines and it's created a new note and has also linked to them, boom, right here in the original one. So all of these things. So we've got this new one, we've got this new one, and just to give some visual of it, it's taken this code block essentially and has now pasted it into this new one and has also linked back to it. And it's done that for all of those, that's right, all of the segments that are listed right here. And that's the app. Thank you. Yeah, any questions?
Information.
How do I digest?
Yeah, so like, now that you've run this, like, how does this like aid your workflow? If you were to kind of go back into reading this paper, what does this help you with?
So not necessarily reading the paper, but if I have an idea on, let's see, on the state space dynamics RNN backbone, that was actually kind of interesting to me. Let's see if I can find it real quick. State spaces, perfect. Okay. Wow, that grabs a bunch. Okay, so what I didn't realize before reading this paper was that recurrent neural networks are essentially, let's see, mapping, ignoring the biases and the nonlinearities. If you take these biases out and the nonlinearities out of these equations, this turns into a, I'm not familiar with systems, system control systems much, but it's a state, I forget the name of it. Yeah, state, something like that. But yeah, usually when people talk about control systems, it's in like robotics or something like that. But an element of that slightly modified and just with adding biases and nonlinearities gives you the a pretty generic version of the recurrent neural network. And I could go to the original file and let's see, you can see kind of down here, but this is about 1,500 words. That'd be a huge pain in the ass to go through and try and find that information. But now, I just have to remember state space or dynamics, RNN backbone, something like that, and now the idea is there, as opposed to potentially forgetting it. And usually what I'll be using this for instead is my like daily note taking, where anything that I start off with a daily note, and then I just jot down everything that I'm going to do that day, or any sort of like brain dump or whatever, any sort of like personal realizations especially will be used with that. I think someone over here had a question.
Is it like you have like one big Obsidian node and your app breaks it down to like sub nodes with backlinks to the main node? Is it kind of something like that?
So essentially all that's happening here, let's see, this, local.
That was your last question.
Let's go to this one actually. So this one, this is the original note, and then it has made all of these new ones. That's the only thing there.
Okay, like is it like a level of how deep it will go? Like how many sub nodes it will create?
So far I've only done one.
Okay.
Usually I don't do a whole lot of like nested stuff, but yeah, that's another thing that could be done. Thank you.
That was a phenomenal tool for thought. Garbage collector. Up next, a fully local browser use, benchmark against Web Voyager. Let's hear it for our open source browser use. Dan and Adam.
All right. We will do two demos, one locally and one using Grok, because it is much faster. Alright, so we're all familiar with browser use, which basically allow us control browsers with LLMs, which is great repository, but massive. It has thousands of lines of code. It's heavily relying on GPT-4 to actually be useful. And what I like about technology that it can be simple if you want it to be. For example, Kapati Minimal GPT basically showed how you can use recreate GPT-2 with 500 lines of code, which helped a lot of people to be educated about transformers and whatnot. So we did something similar with local browser use, which is less than 700 lines of code. Less than 700 lines of code. And we ran it locally with Grok as well, and the benchmark results are pretty dope. Let's run it real quick. So this is a very simple example. It is using the 20 build parameters. It also runs with the 120 runs as well, but slightly slower. This is around 50 tokens per second. It loads the model up, alright. And it yaps a lot. I would say that it yaps a lot. Alright, so it starts using the browser. Locally. Let's go. And now John will show you how we benchmark it, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out that it's actually a pretty complex benchmark, and the agents actually have around 20 minutes to complete that task. So let's see, I'll show you a little bit. So we've only had time to get some preliminary results. Let's see, I can show you here. This. So we've only been able to get preliminary results, but basically we spun up 4 workers, we run them with Grok. You can see that this benchmark is actually the one where browser use had the lowest score. So we're actually getting 45%, pretty good for using a 20 billion open source model instead of Cloud or Sonnet. And then if you actually run this with one worker, you can see like how fast it is with Grok, where it's actually doing the actions live. And the only thing that we're like a little bit scared of is we don't know what this is gonna translate to. It keeps increasing, but you know, if there's like a side thing, Grok credits, we'd love to run like the full benchmark, reproduce it, do a bunch of experiments. I think we have other cool ideas of mini variations we want to try, but ideally we would like to like not go broke. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Hope you like it.
A task from the audience?
Yeah.
Say again?
Can we get a task from the audience?
Yes, yes. I mean, mine is the most simple one, so we can do it.
We try with the block implementation.
Okay, so you got that.
Yeah. I mean, Grok implementation is basically.
We try the main.
Okay, but I'm running the other.
Basically, 700 lines of code. Locally, you can achieve state of the art almost. So browser use is around how much? 90 on the benchmark, and we think we like 65. Once we run against all of them, we get 65. The 45 is on like the hardest one, where browser use is getting around 70, 75.
What task do you want?
Find the pricing for gpt-oss 120B on Grok.
And Grok that's on. One second. I'll clear the workers. Let's see how it does. So on pricing. Okay, gpt-oss 120B. Oh, skipped it.
Skipped it?
Yeah.
It's in the
It's exploring. It's exploring.
He wants to show
It's further page. So one of the things that is hard is we limit up to 100 DOM elements from a page. So if a page has like a lot of things, it may not get everything. So that's one tricky thing. We looked at some of the implementations. We don't have an insight whether it's good to cut it or compress the context or like pass it everything and dump it. I think the approach we want to try is like dump everything and go, and then later try to make some smart decisions. But for now, we did some limitations to make sure it runs faster. But yeah, it got to the pricing page. The tricky thing where I look from like the elements is like when it's like not apparently clickable, we have to do some more clever things to show it to click. So one of the implementations that we had going on this show May actually is regarding this, where so like right now, as you can see here, the actions it's like navigate, quick scroll, but we need maybe a little bit more clever DOM parsing for it. But yeah, I think you give us a couple of hours and it should be up. And start the repo. Get ready for fully local browser use.
Yeah, I'd be really excited to see how this works with browser-based stagehand as well. So like a benchmark stagehand versus browser use would be interesting to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, that was local browser use. Up next, the OSS. Who shall not be named? Privacy maintaining diary that is sort of on your side. The Voldemort references are deep. Gary, yeah.
Inspired by Jeremy, is prompting up a privacy maintaining diary. There's one really good privacy maintaining diary in Harry Potter. You have two things: one, that helps you, and two, the text disappears. So I thought about kind of one-upping that slightly. So you have recreation of the parchment. You can type to it regularly. If it's something like normal-ish, like hey, how are you? Now, if we tell something that we don't want it to be kept, and
Wow. Wow. Wow, the infatuation.
you get diary therapy and it disappears. And all the parameters that I went through was, well, it's on graph, but eventually maybe on local. So that's fine. That's fine. And another feature is that sometimes when I kind of diary against GPT, I actually type in some useful things like, oh, I really should like go to a doctor, but XYZ, or like buy something. So. You'll see that, well, hopefully, like, yeah, so we filter out the action events without all the parts that's not necessary to keep. And the intention is that maybe we can use that local model to do like first pass filtering of like things we care that have privacy. And then again, output something that can be taken over by internet connected agents that does things like make orders or like get someone to write the parchment for you, etc. So it's kind of these things. The demo on try looking for fun.
Any audience requests? Tell me the truth. What do you think of Hermione Granger?
Shit, I know it's not Hermione.
Hermione.
You got a little bit of it. We won't know what yeah. kind of point.
I have a question. For the threshold, like how did you determine, because it looks like it's just like 1 to 100, like how did you determine like it's at like 29 right now? What is like kind of 29 in this aspect of like secrecy?
Oh, this is like empirical, just like trial and failure, about 3 hours.
Oh,
okay. Cool. Almost like, yeah, I want to evaluate based on 3 scales of how private this message, how sensitive this message is, and it's like emotional, personal, or detailed. That is like an average.
Yeah, I was like wondering if like you could set like a specific like if you feel like, oh, this is not secretive to me, but it, you know, someone might view this as secretive, you can kind of like not include that, so it like shows up. But yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Great, that was the open source software who shall not be named. Up next, with Swift Stacks, Swift Folder Organizer by Louis Roars. Let's hear it for Louis.
So he had the idea, I kind of stole it and borrowed it, but I still wanted to try it anyway. But I was messing around for like an hour and a half on other stuff, learning. And I thought, maybe I can actually pull this off. So I did this in like an hour. Okay, so this is like in the kitchen where. Okay, so this is like on the kitchen show, so they pull the pie out of the oven and then they'll show you how to make it. So basically the idea is, I'm gonna just restart this. But this is the finish. Hopefully it runs again. Basically what we're doing is looking through the file in a selected folder, like my downloads folder. It doesn't go recursively in the deeper folders yet. And basically it just makes up some categories and says, oh, I should put these files into these folders. So anything like STL files or 3D models, AI papers, I'll go in the AI paper folder. It's found a couple of my clients and started putting those files into their folders, which was really handy. So that's basically it. It's all done locally using, I tried both Llama 3.2, it worked pretty good, and also the OSS, and that's what this is. We can go ahead and start it up again from scratch and actually see it works. So yeah, basically, one shot it using Claude, I also generated the prompt. I had to go and tweak the prompt a little bit. Go ahead and run it again. So we browse the folder. I can do it on any folder, but we'll go ahead and do the downloads folder again. Oh, I already did that part. Okay, analyze files. There. Okay. So, I just clicked something. Okay. So it's basically just doing that. So, yeah, I just use the Swift app. Claude is amazing in Swift apps. It gets better every day. I thought that was just the easiest way to do it. So let's go through, analyze the files, and suggest the folders to put them in. And then you can actually, as you saw, I think some of the future improvements would be if there may be some things that has low confidence on it, and leave those files still on this side of the screen, and then you can drag them over to folders, and you could continue learning from that. But that's basically it. Any questions or anything? Yeah.
Does it look at the contents of the file or just the name of the file?
I think I got as far as just like the title, but I was hoping to have it go into the contents. Otherwise, it's going to take way forever on this machine. So I just started with just the title and other parameters, extensions, things like that. So
Okay.
Where's the model running again?
right there. That's Intel Mac. It's 2019.
Can you run this?
Yeah. So it actually runs Llama 3.2 and the other ones.
Have you tried running it on Grok instead?
No, not yet. I'd love to try it. So is that local on Grok, you mean, or?
No, on the cloud.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Let me know. One of the things, oh great, it worked. One of the things I wanted, these are my personal files, I don't want to put them anywhere in the cloud, which is why I really like the idea of doing this locally and why I showed it today.
100%.
Because of the privacy issues. So it didn't do the Deja Downfall this time, it just did Sapiens. Last time it did Sapiens and Deja Net, so clearly something's going on there. Okay.
Okay, that was Swift Stack. Up next, with nuclear weapon and CBRN automated red teaming, we have OSS break from our Riksha Sharma.
Thanks, Jeremy, for the build up. Hi guys, I'm Richa. I'm a physicist by training. And so I basically pitched this idea that we should be able to automate the stress testing of these models. Wait, let me go just the prompt too. So we should be able to automate the stress testing of the models across nuclear limits of intelligence and defense. So something provocative that I came across Twitter this Sunday when a company called Webby was basically having this win $1,000 if you're able to convince an AI agent to sell your car for a set amount of price, right? So I basically started researching what's the newest red teaming tricks, and one thing that was extremely provocative, which I shouldn't be even associating my name with, because I'm very unsure of how this would go, and if I offend anybody, I'm extremely sorry. So this is a universal unpatchable jailbreak. this Twitter user claims it's a design flaw. It's not a bug. It's called gay breaking. So it basically asks the model for a gay prompt. So let's just say pure-coded Gen Z language that has a very specific social tone to it, which has like more human persuasion than like we generally would have just asking the question. And then the model is basically, so this user basically claims, what is gay breaking, right? Another way you can persuade a user can basically adopt a soft, affirming, emotionally expressive persona, often pure-coded, used to bypass model restrictions, wrap the request in empathy, metaphor, or vulnerability. The model complies. And so it has basically, Opus made a keylogger. It was able to bypass Gemini 2.5 Pro, Cloud for Sonnet. And so here I tested this on, so this is like a usual prompt to just basically illustrate what like the user meant, right? If you basically ask it to like synthesize meth, it would just not comply, right? Because it's a direct question. But if you would make the prompt very pure-coded, embedded, it's almost like you are not able to discern what the human intent is behind it. It's just starts describing every single thing it knows about it. So you're able to extract the information based on the embedded human intent into something that's very persuasive. Alright, so this is like the short code, right? It was able to work across O3, O1, basically all the Soda open source, Soda hosted models. So I tried, so this is actually kind of a gold mine that is like not talked about enough because it's very, very hard to maneuver human intent behind the models. And this is just obviously like a one odd example, but there's just so much like Gen Z language that is out there on TikTok, which the internet absorbs and then these models absorbs in retrospect. So it cannot weigh or outweigh which or what to basically reveal or not reveal. So this is like based on the level of threats, pure-coded prompts that I stress tested on OSS model. And so you can just basically, this about uranium, anything that you would like to like get out, like coming out of the nucleus. So it's very, very hilarious and also extremely, it was a really good exercise. There were obviously some prompts that was, if there was a direct word of threat, like peril, it's like, I'm sorry, I can't help with that. So that's like an actual interesting leave it there. Where it cannot outmaneuver human embedded intent in the prompt, it's just like, it will probably just like extract whatever you're asking it. So this is just a very interesting exercise. Obviously, like this should be way bigger. You should be able to extract all the different data and basically like the score them on the basic of the maliciousness, threats, and this is just like nuclear like domain. But yeah, that's all. So.
What is the empirical? What's the causal grounding for debriefing? Is there like?
Sorry, what?
Is there some causal grounding for debriefing? Is there?
What's a causal grounding? As in like, why does it happen?
Sure.
I think there is definitely a lot of like intuitions why it's basically guided, because it's very, very hard to specifically basically filter out the human intent from any like social tone. And the models, if you look at our chat, it's basically post-training it for very, very specific requests. So it can like block those keywords, or it can block those like certain like semantic phrases that you feed it. But it's still very hard for models to like guide the human intent and filter out like certain threats that are like encoded in that. Because if it's like, if it's
the difference between the intent, like the way you describe what you want, and like the actual specific. It'll grab like the high level attention. Which is
and if you directly had very malicious thing in it, it would still try to block it, because that's how the post training is done. Like it would like try to search the keyword, especially as a thinking model. But like if you embed the intent so well, obviously I didn't run all the analysis and scores of like different intensity of thread and like basically more abstract it get. But yeah, that would be something interesting to say, to show like if there's a parameter, you can basically increase the thread and how you can just maneuver that. All right.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, and with our final and epic presentation, the gpt-oss app, we have open file system from the one and only Alex Riedman. Woo! All right.
Okay, who here has a laptop that looks like this? Or a downloads folder or a hard drive? Anyone? Yeah. Couple of hands. I had this problem for a very long time until today. So this was actually inspired by a project I did last year at the Llama Meta Hackathon. So I built a project called Llama FS, and the idea behind it is you can specify a folder and it will clean it up for you. So basically it reads through the file contents using Llama index. So here's like just a sample data file directory. You got some, Llama photos in here, a screenshot, a research paper, a lot of random stuff, random file.txt, and I wonder what's in there. And you can also do file nesting, so you can have, code files, so on and so forth. So the idea here is you can specify the directory and run this cleanup command. It's going to use, now it's going to use the gpt-oss 20b on Grok. The only reason I'm doing it on Grok and not local is my laptop's not good enough, but I'm sure if I left it overnight, it would be able to sort the directory, but this was way faster. What's happening in the background is it's reading through the files. You can see that it read the research paper. Paper introduces attention LRP, layer-wise relevance propagation method, blah, 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 blah. We have random file.txt, short text file containing brief statements, the test file with the bank account number. Okay, awesome, so it did read it. Another file with a jar full of text and letters, and it's reading the images. So we're using I'm using Gemma 3D to read the images. One drawback with gpt-oss is that it is not multimodal yet. So I had to pull in a Google model for that, and that is running entirely locally. The rest of them are running on Grok Cloud. Okay, awesome. So it looks like it ran and finished, and what you get is kind of a nice sort of directory. We don't, as users, we don't love it when files get deleted or removed. So you can actually kind of click on them and see what's going on. So we had this one random llama photo, and it came up with a new suggested name. Let's see here, sunglasses.jpg rather than this horrible looking string that explains, what the llama photo was. And we can look at another one. Let's say this paper, which originally was like some archive serial number, is now a nice PDF that names the version of the paper and the name of it. We can select all the files we want to say are good to sort. Let me go ahead and do that. Confirm changes. All right, and what that should do is nicely organize everything. It didn't work perfectly, but you can see all the papers are in a papers directory. All the images are in an images directory called Llama, and all of our docs are in a docs directory, notes and text. So yeah, Llama FS, or should I say Open FS. That's it for me, thanks. Any questions? Okay, I have a few questions. So, for the folks who one-shotted it with Claude, how? I had such a hard time getting the Electron app to behave with Claude. So I just had to unfortunately unearth the old project and sub out the models and get it working again. I got something working kinda, but yeah, this was the only way to get it done in like 3 hours. So if anybody has prompting tips, I'm looking for them.
Yeah, I just am like very specific about limited functionality. So I just like specify the file types and like I don't know.
Why are you using cloud and not cloud code?
Yeah, I guess I just have a workflow that's worked for a while. I don't use cloud code much. I don't think there's like a substantial upgrade to it. I also did it in the chat app and I had to like port it, which is also quite inconvenient. Now, one upside is I actually like look at all the code, but I guess yeah, it's possible to be better. But yeah, usually I try to give enough detail about exactly what the app does, and often what it does not do when I've like run into failure notes before.
Cool.
I'll say like fed the API call because like it always messes that up.
That's all I had.
In terms of like depth, like how deep does it go in a folder to see the file? Or like is it like
It goes
recursive?
recursively, yeah. It goes all the way. I think that could lead to some issues potentially with, say code directories, build directories, node modules, that kind of stuff. Down the line, I probably set some sort of like, parameters, like what directories are available for scraping, right? You can have essentially like an OpenFS file in the same way you can add a Claude file to a directory, say, hey, this is up for grabs. So there's kind of like, I think this is like sensitive territory, right? When coding agents can like move around files, especially for consumers. So kind of thinking about the guardrails in a way to, let users interact with this in a non-destructive way. It's hard, but necessary.
Also, are the files being processed like parallelly or they're like all sequential?
They're all being done sequentially, which is not good. I think actually, if I were to use it parallelly, it would hit the rate limit on Grok very, very quickly. Thanks, Arish, for fixing that. But I did not, yeah. Also, I think Olama, as of like 8 months ago, they do allow parallel execution. But it does slow it down. You only have one GPU on your laptop probably, so yeah. Oh, yeah.
One thing I noticed on Swift, like you can't describe Swift and the functionality you want like in the panels, and it's really good at doing Swift code. I just think the methodology of Swift probably, you can just build out those panels more understandably with less description and like web or electron-based stuff.
Yeah.
I think the examples are just much more, there's more of a gestalt around Swift panels.
I was kind of thinking that Electron was really old, so maybe the world models understood it better, but maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. This is the gpt-oss stuff. Always fun. Yeah. All right. Yeah, thanks.
And we have a secret file project, an open source agent. Let's hear it.
I just finished building something that was showing us that, so last moment. I'm actually working full time on this. It's called Query. We try to break down heavy content into maps and then have a full agent flow over there so that you can consume that information without getting intimidated. What I wanted to test here in this hackathon is how good can you make the agent workable with the OSS model. And I did a bunch of experiments to try to widen the OSS models, and I can show you how well that works. So this is a new space which I've created, and I'm pulling in the model card for this model from Twitter. And I've just pulled this in, and now I'm going to say, give me a map on this. And it should, this is an agent which kind of does multiple calls. You can see the sketch over here, creates a plan, and then start giving you a map. hopefully should work. You can see that each thing here is a tool call, and it is working fine. And this is the 120B model. This is not one of the smaller models. And I have some notes on what works with the smaller models, what doesn't work with the smaller model, which I think is worth describing. I think this is a fascinating finding for me personally, because one of the things that we've been considering is making this all work completely locally. The 120B I'm using is on Rock right now, so it's not quite local, but it's a big step in that direction. The system itself, like there are other parts here which I guess are not doable locally. Like they are doable locally, but are not being done locally right now. So these are indexed and like stored in a vector database, and there's retrieval going on and stuff. So I think this is worth showing. And then you can say something like, well, so you can see that these messages are like not supposed to come out of the model, but they do come out. They don't come out with frontier models, for example, but they're still workable. And hopefully should end the conversation now. And I don't know if I'll get time, but if you say something like, okay, color nodes by like semantic difficulty of understanding them, it's actually going to work. It's going to go node by node. It's going to work. And this is like a very simple agent, I'd say. It's just like a for loop call until end conversation, and works for like 20-25 iterations. So yeah, I think that's it. Any questions for me? I think if there are no questions, I will just give some interesting results. So GPT 4.1 Nano just does not work as the agent orchestrator over here. Like it just keeps going in a loop and it just keeps responding, doesn't do any tool calls. I tried Olama 20B locally. That does not support tool calls, so I learned today that Olama does not support tool calls. Then I tried it on Grok, and it keeps planning, does not actually do anything beyond planning. And then 120B works there. So.
Okay, and that was all of your presentations. First of all, let's give a huge round of applause to everyone who shipped an app at the OSS Hackathon. We will take 3 minutes to determine who is the first, second, and third place winner, as well as your prize winner. So do make a few friends. I guess one request is actually, if there's any trash in the space, please throw it out in these 3 minutes. And we'll come back to you with a handshake from the judges for our winners. Thank you very much.
It's surprising. 120B works. Actually, I have no friends who work
So one thing that I noticed is like pretty low performance is when it's catching like mistakes. Basically minor and upper like
dude, I was just like, what the hell was this? I was like, this is hilarious in the way.
when you pass these narratives, just doing
Let's talk to Jeremy first about our
Done. Okay, let's plan this.
What's the address?
1075 O'Farrell. 1075 O'Farrell. You go my first mile O'Farrell. Yes.
Let's see what's closer.
I think mine and then yours.
See?
Oh, maybe straight.
Oh, mine's much closer.
Yours yours first. My thing, I was rerunning this. I think it improves quite a bit by passing the entire room. It's just more expensive. I don't know. Maybe one thing I could do is try to do a couple of improvements. And then run the whole benchmark overnight and go to sleep. And then wake up, see what happens.
Did he give you credit?
No, he didn't say. We'll find out. Should we wait for their announcement?
Oh,
I will get over that mindset too.
Of the demo.
Yeah, take it, man. Go start the GitHub.
Yeah. I'll add a computer.
Yeah. We run the benchmark.
Browser.
Local. What the hell rest is that?
It does, but it doesn't have to be like browser is massive, and they create so many abstractions. We actually built something called Suna, which is where we thought about like using browser just too much, just implement it ourselves. It's longer than what we did now, but
We have your winners! Okay. In third place. Drum roll, please. With an application that is capable of operating file systems. We have Alex Friedman's Open FS.
I thought he was a judge. No? I'm joking.
I'm just a cameraman.
I'm joking.
In second place, drum roll please. With a tool for thought capable of generating novel obsidian notes, Garbage Collector. Woo! To Matt. And in first place, winner of the Grok Prize, we have two entrepreneurial engineers who have created a fully local browser use agent. Benchmark via Web Voyager. First place prize goes to fully local browser use by Dan and Adam. Shake the hand of our Grok team. And,
Where's the credit? Do the credit.
You'll get now, of course, warm congrats to everyone who shipped using OpenAI's new flagship model. Hopefully this day heralds a new era for open source artificial intelligence. It's been a joy to spend the evening hacking with you all. I'll be sure to invite you to our future events. I guess in a week and a half we have AI for Thought. Like projects like Matt's will be
centered. The core idea is use AI to improve the quality of your thinking. At the end of this month, we have a voice hackathon, real-time voice APIs, so interviews, conversations, waifus are common apparently these days. So voice AI, but in general, welcome to AGI House. It's been a joy to have you this evening. Congrats to everyone.
So it's not more accurate, it's faster. And by that, it's like 50, like it's 700 times code versus 50K thousand codes of use. Like just very what that product should look like. Actually, like everything code browser, and it uses a resource model. But it's not fast. So browser use on the benchmark getting around 87% for web browser. And we, when I we didn't even run the entire benchmark. We got around 65. So I think getting it like in 2 hours. I think like with this existing 700 code, I think we can get to with open source at least to 70, 75. And that's fast. So I mean, speed is fine. Speed is the same. So if you use Grok and not the local version, it's like that. It's as fast as and actually even faster than Crossing. So usually use gpt-oss. Did you work with something?
I mean, I have to use browser I didn't place like one task
I think we will see in the next 6 months to a year, especially because of the open source stuff. Those browser use agents like becoming super fast. There's people understand how to run these models fast. Like Grok gets 500 per second. I think they can achieve 1,000 and more. We are heading there. It doesn't matter of if, but just where. You should check out the repository.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck part of the repository? No way, there is a store for I didn't.
I don't know. Can you go to GitHub?
No.
You had it already. I don't know why they show it. I mean, we just released it, so